Everybody, welcome back to day 7 and 8 of a cold turkey withdrawal from Sertraline, which is an SSRI medication, or you may know it as an antidepressant. So for today's episode I'm doing day 7 and 8 together, and that's because I found that doing a double day video in the last video that I'd done was actually a better format at this point in the process, just because a lot of my symptoms are starting to smooth out now. I'm finding that most of the symptoms are diminishing and less intense, and overall things just feel a lot smoother. In fact, for day 7 there's basically nothing to report on. Most of the day was pretty smooth. I didn't really have any energy swings. Yeah, I still had brain zaps, but that's fairly normal just when you are withdrawn from medication. Sometimes that can take quite a few weeks for that to diminish or go away. It was actually only yesterday, which was a bit of a blip in fact. So I woke up feeling pretty good, as I usually do in the morning. However, I then started to sink into a bit of a strange mood. It was this very kind of heavy and foggy mood, and for some reason I was just perpetually irritated for like absolutely no reason. It's sort of weird to describe. It's almost as if somebody had wronged us, or maybe like ticked us off in some way, but there was just absolutely no reason for it. And again, I was quite prepared for that. I think having mood swings when you're withdrawn from medication can be quite a common occurrence. You might get angry for no reason, you might feel irritated, you might feel extremely sad or emotional, and sometimes you might feel like extremely happy and over the top in some ways. But yeah, I was just extremely irritated for no reason yesterday, so I was quite aware of that. I am mindful that I may get mood swings, and again, the best approach to have with that is to be mindful of your moods, is to abstract yourself away from the mood. You kind of say to yourself, yeah, that's not me, it's just an experience that's happening. It's neither good nor bad, and that separates you from that experience, so you don't become it, you don't become consumed by it, you just simply observe it. So yeah, that was kind of the main thing yesterday. Other than that, there wasn't particularly any kind of symptoms, but the frustrating thing with that mood yesterday is that I just dominated the entire day. There wasn't really a way for me to kind of get out of that other than just to sit back and kind of experience the process as it was happening. I also noticed as well when I got in bed and when I was trying to sleep is that there was a sort of certain heaviness about trying to go to sleep. I don't really know how to explain that or put it into words that would make sense, but it felt like my breathing was kind of heavy, that the sleep was very syrupy, and that was kind of sinking into it in a bit of an unusual way. It didn't really feel like a nice going to sleep process. And for some reason, I think about maybe 50 or 60 minutes into the sleep, so I fell asleep but I woke up about 50 or 60 minutes later, and I didn't really feel too good. I felt kind of out of it, sort of felt a little bit disconnected. So I have had episodes of dissociation in the past, or depersonalization. It's one of those terms. Essentially it's where you sort of feel like you're backseat to what you're observing. You sort of feel like a passenger in your mind. So that was a little bit strange. Again, nothing I haven't dealt with before, so I just had to kind of accept that was happening, and that was the process. And then about 15-20 minutes later I managed to settle down again and I went back to sleep, and after that the sleep was fine. I woke up today, which is technically day 9 now. So that was it. I went to sleep and that was pretty much it after that, and for the most part I've woke up feeling really good today. No particular symptoms. I'm feeling pretty full of energy today. I've managed to go for a bit of a walk. I've been to the gym as well this morning. I've met up with a friend. So again, I have mentioned this in previous videos, but it's really important to stick to a social schedule. Make sure you're still trying to get out there and see your friends and your family and have days out, because I think when you try to break away from that because you feel like you're in a bad way or in a bad mood, again, it's that thing where you're basically giving credence to that experience. You're giving credence to negative emotions, and then they become reality. So in my opinion, one of the best things to do is to just let things happen and try to get on with your day as you would as if you were feeling normal, or whatever your version of normal is. Of course, that's relative to everybody. But yeah, I think just trying to embrace a normal routine and getting on with your day, and incorporating a lot of socialising and going out and enjoying hobbies, whether that's a walk, going for a bike ride, going to the gym, etc. Maybe have creative hobbies as well, so playing music, a little bit of painting, sketching, things like that. Again, they are all really good creative expressions and physical expressions to just ground yourself and feel a little bit normal and feel more rooted in reality. And it'll also serve to distract you as well from any sort of negative emotions. I feel like they can still be there, but if you're out and about and doing things, they're less likely to impact you as well. In terms of food, I have had a pretty good start of the day. I had some sourdough bread and some feta cheese. And again, I like to get fresh bread or fresh sourdough bread because bread, when it's made fresh, has less preservatives in. In fact, I don't think it should have any preservatives in at all. The only drawback is that it goes off a lot quicker, but I believe that bread should be eaten within 2 to 3 days anyway. After that, you're better off getting a fresh loaf, and that's so you can avoid those nasties or added extras, which in most cases are unnecessary and probably end up destroying things like your gut microbiome and other things that I've been reading into. It's really interesting research, but yeah, to me it seems like anything that's designed to last longer past its natural point will usually affect you over time in some negative way. I've also had a little bit of a cheat day. I did get an iced latte coffee from Greg's, as you've seen in the intro, and that's probably not going to be too good for us in a way, just because it is a properly caffeinated coffee, and I do get anxiety. It's one of the sort of driving forces behind me being on Sertraline, but occasionally you've just got to say, you know what, I want to live my life and have that kind of one-off. But for the most part, it's going to be sticking to healthy eating, whole foods, things like chicken, beef, turnip, broccoli, carrots, potatoes, lots of fruit. I like mangoes, I like cherries, I like plums, I like nectarines, I like nuts as well, things like pistachio nuts. Technically they're not nuts, they're actually seeds. I also like coconut as well. They are very, very calorific and high in fat. It's very good fat for you, but sometimes, especially if you're watching your weight, you might want to minimise how much you eat. The coconut water, however, is extremely good for you. It is absolutely packed full of electrolytes, so if you do get the chance for fresh coconuts, make sure you save the water and drink it. It's really, really good for you. In fact, if you drink it after a workout, it's even better, as that can power you up. In terms of the supplements, I'm sticking to the same thing. So as I mentioned in my previous videos, I am basically having creatine, glutamine and N-acetylcysteine, or NAC for short. I'm having vitamin D, vitamin K2, I'm also having algae oil as well, which provides omega-3 fats, which apparently are brain boosting as well. So again, I like to give myself the best possible chance of having a smooth experience when withdrawn from this. But overall, a lot of those things are things you could probably take on a daily basis. Again, you want to speak to your doctor before you do that, because there may be certain interactions. And in fact, it can affect you in different ways, certainly for some people with different dispositions as well. Also, as well, as I mentioned in my previous videos, I'm still working on my website. I'm not going to drop the address quite yet. I'm still working on that. I want to make sure that it's ready to go. But that's essentially going to be a one-stop shop resource for things in relation to wellness, in relation to my own personal stories with sertraline and using antidepressants. It's going to cover things like supplements and what kind of benefits they bring you. And I'm also going to cover my diet as well, and what types of meals I'm eating and what kind of nutrition you should expect to get in them. That's things like your vitamins, your fats, different phyto compounds. You know, food is infinitely complex. It's something that has been designed and cultivated almost over billions of years, you know, by natural processes. If you believe in God, as I do, you know, God has designed this food perfectly for us, and it's very hard to quantify exactly how each little individual component of that, whether it's phytocompounds or vitamins, affect us and improve our mood and make us feel better. So I think it's important to kind of highlight that for you guys as well, because taking a holistic approach is not going to only improve your mood and mindset, it's also going to work to improve your bodily processes as well. It's going to reduce inflammation, it's going to allow you to move better, you'll possibly lose weight as well if you're not eating too much of it, and overall you'll just have a better experience in life. One thing I want to touch on as well is the more days that are passing now without being on medication. You can probably tell in these videos, apart from the other day where I was a little bit subdued, my personality is really starting to come out now. I'm starting to reconnect with things, I'm a lot more energetic, and I've also got more of a positive mindset. Now, it's a very curious thing. I do believe that your mindset almost gives off maybe like an energy wave into the universe. I know that sounds really strange or woo-woo, and I'm not basing this on any kind of science or anything like that, but I've noticed that when my mood's a lot better and my personality is there, people seem to just receive me better. That's without even interacting with them. They can tell just by probably micro expressions that have probably changed on my face from being heavily medicated to not medicated, that I'm getting smiles, I'm getting glances, and people are even just saying hello when I'm at the gym, or I'm striking up conversations. Whatever's going on, I'm removing myself from the fog of antidepressants, and it's allowing me to reconnect with everything, not just my own mind, but with everybody around us. So yeah, if you do get the opportunity, I would highly recommend, especially under guidance of your doctor, and if you really believe you can do it, is to come off your medication, whether that's through a slow taper, which is usually safer for people, or if you're considering withdrawn cold turkey. Again, I don't advocate that. I'm only doing that myself because I've done it in the past before, so I know mostly how I'll respond. Yes, there'll be intense days for me, but it's mostly safe. But yeah, for now, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today. Like I say, yesterday was a bit of an unusual day. It was very heavy, very syrupy. I felt like I was in a bit of a sort of vat of soup in my mind, and my body wasn't really responding properly. But today has been magic. It's been amazing. It's just great to feel reconnected with everything again, and I'm hoping that continues. Like I say, I'm not naive to the fact that I've had issues with anxiety in the past, things like some levels of OCD, and eventually that can start to build up, become stressful and irritated, and that's how I've eventually went back onto tablets. But I'm going into this process with a better mindset. I'm incorporating a lot of abstraction away from my own thoughts and feelings. I think it's important. You know, you don't want to sort of say, okay, I'm feeling this negative feeling and that is me now. I become that feeling, because at the end of the day, you're not that feeling. Yeah, it feels bad, but you're only feeling bad in this avatar that we're probably only living temporarily anyway. So if you can abstract yourself away from that and just say, okay, it's a feeling, it's there, it's neither good nor bad. Yeah, it feels a bit uncomfortable, but eventually it will pass. And as long as you take yourself out of that and put yourself in a backseat almost, just observe it, it really diminishes how much that's going to impact you. So yeah, I hope this video's really helped, and please stick with us as we'll be releasing more videos over the next few days. I'm more than likely going to get to around about 30 days of this withdrawal process before I start doing other videos, and that's because for me, when I withdraw off tablets, it's usually quite a quick process. Eventually most of the symptoms stop. The only things that I occasionally get for some months afterwards is the occasional blip of brain zaps, but other than that, for the most part, everything else goes. Big pigeons. Also, you might want to be aware that I'm going to be doing a ultimate overview and an ultimate guide of withdrawn from SSRIs, and that's basically going to be my own personal story, but it's going to be condensed information, so it's going to give you a lot more specificities in terms of the diet I'm using, my nutritional approach, the supplements I'm using and what they actually do in the body and what they can do for you, and also looking at things like my exercise regime and again how that can benefit you during this withdrawal process. I'm also not one to overlook things like philosophical concepts or mental health techniques, as I believe that they are very, very important. So things like meditation, things like deep breathing, or you may have heard it as box breathing. You can also stimulate something called the vagus nerve with things like splashing cold water on your face, and also deep breathing as well. Some people know that as the diver's reflex, I believe. I'm sure it's linked in some way. So the vagus nerve is just this massive nerve that goes from your brain all the way down through your body. I think it passes the heart and also is near the stomach as well, and that controls a lot of things like your heart rate. So again, if you're very anxious, it's good to stimulate the vagus nerve, as that can calm things down as well. So there's quite a few techniques and quite a few bits of information that I want to cover, because withdrawing from Sertraline and SSRIs is a very, very harrowing process. It's very difficult for a lot of people, and I'm cautious because I am probably making it look easy in some way, but for a lot of people, I don't want to give a number, but for a lot of people it's actually a very hard process, and some even struggle to come off it, you know, for many decades as well. But yeah, if you are absolutely sure in your mind, if you're armed with the right knowledge and the right processes, then I absolutely believe you can come off them. But yeah, like I say, that type of stuff will be coming in more videos. I'm also going to be working on a lot of in-depth articles for my website, which I will launch as soon as I can for you guys. That'll also have direct links to my videos on YouTube, so again, it'll become like a one-stop shop for any kind of updates and things like that. But the best thing you can do for now is to like, subscribe as well, and comment down below. I do want to have that engagement because it helps promote the videos. which in turn will help give people a lot of useful information potentially. But it also means I can connect with you guys, I can learn from you guys. You know, I'm not an expert at this, so I want to hear your kind of opinions, your anecdotes and things that you've experienced, and that'll create like a sort of flywheel effect. Things will be an emotion, it'll be very hard to stop that. And I think advocacy for mental health and, you know, how people have been affected by these medications is really, really important there. So yeah, for now, if you can do that, I'd appreciate it. But it's been an absolute pleasure as always. I really hope you enjoy your day wherever you are in the world. And for now, goodbye.